Okay, on this video I'm basically just going to show how to swap out tubs, how to take out an old tub, which this is fiberglass. I'm not going to be able to show the process of taking it out. I have another video about how to take out a tub. It's pretty easy steps. In this case it's not as easy because I've got to cut up all this fiberglass into pieces. But basically you're taking out this overflow cap, you're taking out the tub spout, and you're taking out the drain flange. On a normal tub, that's all you have to do. You lift the tub out and then sideways up and then just get it out the door. In this case I can't show you the process because I got to get a reciprocating saw and I got to cut all around here to get it out the door, probably in 3 different pieces, so I'm not going to be showing that, but I will be showing how to plumb in the new tub once this is out, and I will be back. Okay, part of the process of replacing a tub is getting all the old hardware off, and so at this point all I've really done is taken off the overflow plate. The overflow plate goes right here, and by virtue of 2 screws it holds it in, so you see the overflow plate and the 2 screws sitting over there, and that's all you do to take that out. That releases the overflow pipe, you know, from this bottom part. They're both tied in. There's a T down here where the drain and the overflow tie into down below. The second thing is you take off the tub spout. Most tub spouts are screw-in type, so at the very end here there's a male and a female, and if you turn it to the left, lefty-loosey, you're going to be able to get this thing out with basically your bare hands, is how they put it in. In this case it has a set screw, so what you need is an Allen wrench that size that you're going to be able to loosen that set screw, because it does turn around even when this is tight. And then once this is loose, then you just pull the whole thing off like so. So you're free and clear of that. The next thing is the tub shower valve fixture, whatever you want to call it. That just sits in there like that. It has a cap that goes over there, which is right there. You pop off the cap, unscrew the screw, take off the handle, and then you're able to take the part off, which is just basically a trim part that protects the valve. Then, which I've already done previous to me starting this, you take out the screws, very long screws. I think they're about 2.5 inches. Once you take out those screws, you take out the scutcheon plate, and then you're free and clear. So the only thing that I haven't been able to do, and there's all the parts right there. The only thing I haven't been able to do is to take out the tub drain flange that's on top of here. As I showed earlier, it's broke. So all I was able to manage to do is knock off the other little pieces that were left over. And normally you would have a tool, which I have in my plumbing box, but basically you'll see this little X right here that's part of this, and it's gone on this one, but that tool just fits right down in here, and then you unscrew it with some channel locks and this whole thing gets released once you unscrew it. In this case I'm going to be taking out this fiberglass tub anyway, so the only way I'm going to get this free is to actually cut a square around here. So kind of disregard this as far as standard tubs aren't usually that difficult to free up, but this is the exception to the rule. Other than that, because I'm going to be taking all this out, I'm not going to worry too much about the tub spout pipe right now. If you wanted to, you could get a hacksaw and just cut that off to the edge here. It's probably a good idea for you to turn off the water just in case you mess up somewhere during this process. You're not going to flood the house or, you know, flood downstairs or whatever, because if you happen to hit a pipe or something like that, it would not be a good thing. And if you happen to actually accidentally turn this on, then you're going to have water going down here where this is loose. And so turn off the water if you're in doubt, and I will be back once I have all this stuff out. Okay, well, I have the tub out since I was last on video, and the new tub is here standing up. The reason it's standing up, I already did a dry run. The old plumbing, which is basically setup you see here. Okay, so when the tub was there, that was the overflow cap that you took off with 2 screws, and this is the bottom drain of the bathtub. That's the main drain of the bathtub. So obviously you see where it drains out and then goes down to that direction into your P-trap below. This is the overflow, just in case you overflow your bathtub. When you put that flange on, that cap as it were, then it has a little gap in between the rubber and the face of the tub, and then water would just drain naturally into the tub, or into the drain rather. So this is part of the old one. Actually, this top part is the old one, and it's usable, but I couldn't use the rest of it because it was actually glued in. I don't have those parts right now. Yeah. So the old one was actually glued in. I could not take it out. This is a soft PVC and this is a hard PVC. So in order to redo it, I actually had one of these T's, which is right here. So I just kind of redid the configuration that we had before with a few adjustments. The other tub was much higher. This is adjustable, so when you tighten and loosen this, it adjusts up and down. And so I need about 12 inches, 12 3/4 from the floor level, and I think it was at 16. So in this case, you know, I have more than enough to set it in there. And then I think from this point here to where the drain is at the bottom of here, it's about 9 inches, and so I got my 9 inches right there. And what I did is when I cut this part off, which is kind of difficult to do, I used part of a hacksaw and part of a sawzall. When I cut that part off, then I was able to get an adapter, and so the adapter is going to get glued in here. Same adapter basically that you had here already. So I have a secondary one that's going to get glued on there, and then I have the ring. There's actually a ring in there for 1.5-inch pipe that will screw onto that. Imagine that being right over there, and then this whole configuration, which I've measured out already, will go into there and be tightened down. So what I've done off camera is, again, I adjusted everything to the height and depth and width that I need in order for this to happen. I stuck it in there, and then I set the tub back in the way it's supposed to go, like this, and then I checked exactly where my drain was here and my overflow was, and on the very first try my overflow and my drain were actually perfect to where my overflow and my drain for my bathtub is. So on one dry run I was able to get the measurement correct. So what I did at that point is I put a pencil mark. So the pencil mark will be where this goes once this is inside and glued. That's the pencil mark for there. Just in case I moved anything, I made a pencil mark here and a pencil mark there, so that if I do move something, I'll know exactly where I need to tighten these nuts to make sure that everything fits once I put the tub in there. And then the rest of the process after that is just I'll have to put a ledger board here. Ledger board will be the height of the lip of here, and so the lip will actually set on that ledger board, and then it'll get anchored by virtue of some screws on the edge of here, which I'll show momentarily. But in the meantime, I want to get this set. Once it's in position and set, then I will actually do a water test. So I will fill up the tub at this point and let it sit there, make sure that I have no leaks below there. I don't want to anchor everything in and get it just right, and then ends up there's a leak somewhere with here. So you always do a leak test first. So I shall return. Okay, now that the glue has dried with this adapter, it's just a matter of putting that, letting it bottom out because that's where my line is at, tightening this nut. And let me emphasize, you cannot over tighten one of these too much because you do not want to leak after you set everything in place. So I'm going to go ahead and be hands free in a minute here and tighten it down. Same goes with this one here, same goes with that one. Tighten all these as much as you can. Okay, so I managed to go ahead and set the tub. The only thing I did, again, you know, you set the tub up this direction against where your piping is at, because, you know, this thing sticks out and you'll never get it in if you try this end and set it down. It won't work. So you basically just tilt it on this side going up like that. It's going to take 2 people, and then you just slowly set it into the spot that it's supposed to be. They're all standard 5 foot, actually 5 foot and a quarter. Gives you a little bit of movement on both the left and the right. That's all there is to it. As I showed earlier, my plumbing was already glued and screwed, and everything was done to it that was needed to be done. and it lines up. Both my overflow drain and my main drain line up. So the next thing you want to do, this gasket comes with your drain flange, and so you take the gasket off. It actually comes from the bottom. Just take that off. It does not go with the drain flange on top. It goes underneath the tub, right up under here. There's going to be just a little wiggle room like that, and that's how it sets, right like that, right? So once that's in place, that gasket needs to be set right there. Then you can take your drain flange, which actually has threads on it, opposing threads for there, and you run a pretty good size bead of plumber's putty on there. It doesn't really have to be that much, but I'm always err on the side of caution. It's better too much than not enough. And then that simply pushes down in there until you find a thread. You gotta get past that. Hold on a second. I'm gonna change that out. Okay. Once you find a thread, easiest thing to do is do one of these. Basically, it's like a basin wrench. Has opposing notches cut out of the tool for your crossbar that's sitting there. You turn it backwards until you hear a click. And as you screw it down into the bottom of the tub drain, all your excess plumber's putty will come right out, just get pushed right out. Then it's not a bad idea, put some more torque on it. There you go. Got a little bit more plumber's putty that's squished out, and that's okay. And now you're plumbed in. So the only thing you have left to do is put your cap on here, and I'm going to do that right now. Okay, the last part of this tub install, this is the pop-up. So that needs to get screwed back in. And then it opens and it closes. Then this trim kit actually comes with a little bar, so you got to save your screws from your last assembly that you had. Those two screws are going to hold that bar in that came in the package, and then this one bolt is going to hold the plate. Then when it's turned, here's your little slot where the water is able to get in, and then you just turn that around until it faces bottom, and it's even on the left and the right side. and then tighten it up. That's all there is to installing the tub. It took me, if I hadn't been doing this video and everything, it would have taken me, I don't know, about 20 minutes, maybe 30 at the very best. And of course, I told you to put a ledger board on there. The ledger board holds up the tub against the edge so it doesn't tip. And then it should be pretty much flush with your studs over there. And then you're going to put in a couple of screws with some type of flange on the head like that. The screws are going to go into the edge of the tub, and that just kind of anchors everything down. So, you know, obviously it goes into the wood, and half of it rests on the edge of the tub. That's our anchoring part. You could probably just get away with doing 1, 2, 3, maybe one in the back, maybe one in the front. That's about it. Other than that, piece of cake, fill it up with water, do a water test overnight, make sure there's no leaks, and that's how to do a tub. Or change one out anyway.